11 of the best legacy sequels. A legacy sequel takes many years to be made and usually stars some beloved original characters. Please like and subscribe for our spirit. Enjoy watching. Maverick, released a whopping 36 years later after many COVID-related delays, somehow improves upon every aspect of the original. The action is indelible, the new characters are exceedingly charming. We see you, Miles Teller, Glenn Powell, and Lewis Pullman. The love story is better, thank you, Jennifer Connelly, and Maverick is somehow the same old Maverick some 30-odd years later, taking risks up in the sky where he belongs. Maverick is not only the biggest movie of 2022, it also overtook Titanic as Paramount's highest-grossing domestic film, has a staggering 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, and is now the highest-grossing film of Cruise's storied career. It's the gold standard of all legacy sequels, from now until the end of time. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. When Star Wars: The Force Awakens brought back Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher for the first time in 32 years, 70s and 80s kids were overjoyed. The saga of Luke Skywalker, his twin sister Princess Leia Organa, their corrupted father Darth Vader, and their dashing roguish friend Han Solo ended in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. Or so we thought. But 32 years later, in 2015, Ford and Fisher came back to a galaxy far, far away in The Force Awakens. Mark Hamill wouldn't appear really until The Last Jedi in 2017. But this time, they brought new friends in the form of Rey, Daisy Ridley, Finn, John Boyega, and Poe, Oscar Isaac. Whatever your thoughts are on how the rest of the trilogy played out, Force Awakens is a delightful space romp, very respectful of the original 70s and 80s trilogy while also adding new characters, planets, and lore for new fans to sink their teeth into as well as the old. Scream. The fifth installment of the Scream franchise, simply titled Scream, successfully made us care about new characters while also paying homage to the OGs. The first Scream was released in 1996, and 3 more films followed in 1997, 2000, and 2011, before the franchise took another decade-long break. 11 years after Sidney and the gang took down yet another Ghostface killer in the town of Woodsboro, California, the 5th installment dropped in 2022. Scream introduced us to a whole new generation of horror movie fanatics / residents of the world's most cursed town. However, this installment also brought back our faves like Sidney, Neve Campbell, Gail, Courtney Cox, Dewey, David Arquette, Judy, Marley Shelton, and even the first ever Ghostface, Billy Loomis, a de-aged Skeet Ulrich, to bring down the latest masked serial killer. Scream was successful enough that a 6th installment has already been greenlit, although this time, Campbell seems like she's going to sit this one out. Halloween. Another horror franchise that got a legacy sequel bump is Halloween, which saw the 11th installment in 2018 wipe the slate clean. The very first Halloween, released in 1978, is widely regarded as one of the most iconic and influential horror movies of all time, catapulting director John Carpenter and star Jamie Lee Curtis into the Horror Hall of Fame. The same cannot be said for the 9 ensuing sequels. Perhaps that's why, after 40 years, the 2018 film wiped out all of the sequel films from its continuity and picks up with a traumatized Laurie Strode, Curtis, still at the ready in case her arch-nemesis Michael Myers returns to the town of Hanfield. It became the highest-grossing slasher film upon its release, breaking a 22-year-old record set by Scream, and spawned 2 more sequels, 2021's Halloween Kills and the upcoming Halloween Ends. The Matrix Resurrections. The Matrix Resurrections was polarizing when it was released in 2021, but we think it was lovely to see Neo and Trinity together. When the first movie in your series was as genre-defining and iconic as the original Matrix, it's always going to be hard to live up to expectations. And after the 2003 double whammy of The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, many thought the story of Neo, Keanu Reeves, a messianic figure who brought about the end of a war between humans and machines, was over. But 18 years later, Lana Wachowski, one half of the duo behind the original trilogy, returned to The Matrix to explain what happened after Neo saved the world. The machines captured him and his dead girlfriend Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, and stuck them both in their newest version of The Matrix, a simulation of the real world. The movie was polarizing, to say the least, but after Trinity's fate in Revolutions, it was cathartic to see the two of them reunited, and to see old faces like Jada Pinkett Smith's Niobe, along with new characters like Neil Patrick Harris's Analyst. Creed. Creed combined the powers of director Ryan Coogler and star Michael B. Jordan with our nostalgia for everyone's favorite boxer, Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone. The final Rocky film was released in 2006 and was titled Rocky Balboa. Arguably, that might also be a legacy sequel, since it came out 30 years after the 1976 original, but it definitely wouldn't make our best list. Creed, however, proved that just because Rocky wasn't slugging it out in the ring anymore didn't mean audiences wouldn't be interested in the Philadelphia boxing scene. Instead, Creed shifted the action to Adonis Donnie Creed, the son of Rocky's friend Apollo, who died in a boxing match during the events of Rocky IV. The film followed him as he struggled to build a legacy for himself without his father's name, bonded with Rocky, and fell in love with Bianca, Tessa Thompson. Both a box office and critical success, with Stallone even getting nominated for an Academy Award, Creed has become a franchise in and of itself. Creed 2 was released in 2018, and Creed 3 is set for 2022. SpiderMan No Way Home. SpiderMan No Way Home technically served as a legacy sequel for both 2007's Spider-Man 3 and 2014's The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The original trilogy of Spider-Man films concluded in 2007, with Tobey Maguire's version of the web-slinger burying his best friend Harry and potentially reconnecting with his love, Mary Jane Watson, Kirsten Dunst. There was supposed to be a fourth movie, but it never materialized, leaving fans of that trilogy with little closure. Instead, Sony rebooted Spidey in 2012 with a new guy at the lead, Andrew Garfield. The responses to his movies were middling at best, and his saga ended after Amazing Spider-Man 2, which left his version of Peter in a dark place, mourning the death of his girlfriend Gwen Stacy. Fans of that trilogy didn't get any closure either. That is, until the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man got himself in a little multiversal trouble and accidentally brought the two past versions of Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, along with some of their most famous villains in 2021's Spider-Man No Way Home, aka the highest-grossing film of 2021. Seeing all three of them interact on screen would have been worth it, but we also got to see Maguire reconciled with two of his villains, and, most importantly, we saw Garfield's Peter Parker save MJ Zendaya from falling, redeeming his mistake from 8 years prior. Dr. Sleep. Fans returned to the Overlook Hotel after 39 years in the 2019 sequel to The Shining, with Dr. Sleep. The Shining, the beloved Stanley Kubrick adaptation of the Stephen King novel, ended with young Danny Torrance escaping from the Overlook with his mother, Shelley Duvall, as his father Jack Nicholson, slowly froze to death and then had his spirit get absorbed into the hotel. Dr. Sleep picks up decades later with an adult Danny, now played by Ewan McGregor, who must return to the Overlook to help save a little girl who has the same psychic powers as he does. It was very satisfying to see Danny confront his demons head-on, including peeking his head through the same door his father smashed with an axe, and even conversing with the spirit of his father, now played by Henry Thomas, who has an eerily accurate Nicholson impression. If you want to see the second part of this series, please like so that I can understand and prepare the second part for you. Thank you for watching. Please also watch the videos in the channel. Goodbye.